Another Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has restrained the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Prince Uche Secondus, from acting, presiding and convening any meeting of the party. Justice Okugbelem Basam ruled that the suspension of Secondus by his ward is subsistent and valid since there is no counter order or affidavit by the PDP challenging it.
Of Rivers State, they were not satisfied with the way the chairman was handling the affairs of PDP as national, because there were a lot of internal wranglings, divisions, people were leaving the party, and they felt that his actions or his remaining as the chairman has caused grave harm. That's why they took this action, and the court this morning confirmed it.
All the reliefs sought by the claimants were all granted, contrary to against our opposition to them. But the good news is that we have a right of appeal, and I have my client's instruction to do so. And even as I'm talking to you, we've already compiled records, and I strongly believe that we will definitely appeal against the ruling.
But generally speaking, the claimants, Uche, Ernest, and 4 others, and the first defendant, Prince Uche Secondus, are all members of PDP. They are members of our party, my clients. All right. Now, the issues in contention between them, for me, is of no significant importance to the party, other than the issues of the only thing that touches us is the fact that the constitution of the party has been thrown up for judicial interpretation. And it is on that regard that we feel that we have to probably react.
Well, Arise News analyst Dr. Sam Amadi joins us now for more on these issues. Thank you so much, Dr. Amadi, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to begin with the embattled chairman of the PDP, the country's major opposition party. Looks very familiar, something out of the playbook of the APC used in the situation of Adams Oshiomhole. But can I ask you, do you foresee a comeback in Secondus' instance?
Well, it first depends on 2 factors. One is the legal proceeding, but beyond that, it also depends on the political process going on among the Governors Forum, the NEC, NWC, and other institutions of governance in the party. The critical thing, you talked about playbook from APC, but let's not forget, even in the reign of PDP in the 16 years, we've seen several attempts of like manner.
So the Nigeria, chairman that stayed.
Exactly. So the system, the political process in Nigeria has been such that we have kind of judicialized political process. Some of these cases suggest whether the rules are not even clear, but the rules are clear. The process for the suspension of NWC member has, in the PDP constitution, is very clear. It has to originate from some particular process. And so what has happened that people who are strong in their various areas instigate from ward. And so you just say suspended from ward. And then suddenly the court says, well, you are bad, until they determine the question. It seems to me that maybe the courts, the judges, their own perception of these questions are troubling. It's very troubling because first I've talked about judicial deference to politics. The judges should constrain themselves. You don't just, there should be some jurisprudential review as to what does it mean to have a tribal issue? What does it mean must the court always grant those prayers? Even if there are tribal issues, okay, somebody claims we've suspended this person. Should there be resort to orders when some of the legal issues have been not properly ventilated? Because, for example, some people argue that actually by the consent of the PDP is actually the NWC, that such suspension of the chairman has to originate from the NWC and not the ward. That's part of like what happened with Adams too as well. So legally, Secondus still have a leeway, can go to court of appeal, and that order may be suspended until the matter is fully determined, in which case there's no more. Don't forget, this is the second order from the same River State. And so what happens is these private party members go on forum shopping. So somebody can go to a shop for a forum, file a case, get an order.
Before Zibo eventually got the
so
flag.
that's really
all right.
But politically, that could become come back way. Yeah.
All right. I'm torn between asking you to quit. Okay, let me leave the PDP for now. It's just less than 2 months. Well, is it 2 months? Yeah, about less than 2 months to the Anambra elections. What would be the impact of INEC's destroyed facilities for this election and the litigations as well, as the imbroglio with the e-transmission?
I think INEC has shown capacity to rebuild quickly. I mean, this is all procurement, and interestingly, I mean, as long as there's budget to procure, the INEC will get those facilities running close to the election time. That's granted. And secondly, INEC has also shown improvement in their managerial capability, so they're getting things better and faster than they did before. I'm also happy with INEC's focus on warning about the impact of these conflicting litigations and late orders. Maybe as a prudential guide, the courts will be reluctant to make further orders close to the election time to allow INEC so that people can come back after the election if there are serious issues to challenge. So the most important is that we should see a line when there's no more issue around, suddenly fortnight to the election, the court says X shouldn't have been a candidate, and then you upset INEC's operational, plans about maybe printing card and so on. So we hope that maybe by end of this month or thereabout, there'll be closure. Now, if you talk about the real worry is the security situation on the ground. Even if you rebuild all those facilities, as long as there's a threat, and credible threat, that maybe some people will work to undermine INEC, or maybe violently disrupt the election, or even intimidate voters, or even candidates generated violence, it will make sure it will create crisis for this election. And again, Anambra's election is an off-season, so off-season elections, INEC do better because you kind of centralize all your energy. The critical thing is security. It's good that they're meeting and talking about security, but the critical thing is, let's not forget that oftentimes the security personnel themselves have been involved, indicted somewhat, with either supporting through partisanship or whatever, helping to strike this up.
Amadi, we will leave it there. Arise, analyst. Thank you so much.